Well, hello there. I'm back again after all these months. It's been a long time. This package here was meant to arrive in March and it was very badly delayed then, and here we are now just at the end of November and finally it's arrived. So I'm very excited. I finally got my hands on this. I'm going to rip open this parcel and have a look inside and see what has shown up.
Selector plate, selector pole, and 3 selector forks. Very nice, and nicely finished as well. Nice. This is good. This feels a little bit short. This is probably the lay shaft. It's well wrapped up. Very nice, I like it. Nicely scrolled bronze bush in there. Part numbers visible. A Kickstarter. So, I like it. It looks good. So this one looks like it has only one sliding dog. Nice, I like it. Yes. Let's have a look at the rest of it. I've been waiting for this for so many years. And finally it's arrived. Oh, we can put an oil thrower on it. Very nice. And meter roller bearings in the sleeve gear. Very nice.
Right, I'm back in the workshop again. I'm going to start on the gearbox again. I'm aware that my appearance seemed somewhat dishevelled from my editing of the first little bit of video. Basically, this jacket is my workshop jacket. It's scruffy. I don't wear it anywhere else, and it was in a fire. That's why it's all destroyed here in the front. The only, it's just, unfortunately, I was wearing it at the time. I was doing a little bit of welding and I noticed that I was, that it was on fire. So, easily sorted out and lesson learned. So here we are, let's crack on. Yes, let's get on with it. Right, the first little part the new parts that I'm going to fit is this selector pole. So that goes in there and that pulls back, and it seems to fit so far. That's the first part. It's looking good. Right, the next piece is this cam plate, and I'm just curious how I'm going to do this with the detente spring, which is quite powerful. That goes there, so I need to hold that down. Actually, a little bit of assistance might be a good idea with a screwdriver. Ooh. No, I think I'll have to think carefully about this and work out another way of doing it. This is just a little bit on the pivot pin for the detente, and I've had to shim that up. And I'm just going to put it together now and demonstrate that it's actually in the right location. Also, I want to show you a little clip of video of the mechanism working and how the stops work for when you press on the gear pedal. Right, I've set up the gearbox with a torch in the gearbox simply to confirm that the stops work correctly and this linkage functions. So that's second gear, first gear, second gear, down, third, fourth, and then 3, 2, 1. That appears to be working nicely. Okay, I've just assembled the little detente pole, and this is just a bit of bar stock which fits this slot. So there we are now. We're in first gear. So let's pull that. Second neutral. Into now. This isn't. This spring is not comfortable. So go back into second gear and then into third gear, and it's stuck. So I need to go find out what's catching. And then fourth gear, and it's caught again. Right, I've had a little look at this, and it struck me that this surface here was snagging a little bit. Which way does it go? Yeah, it goes this way. On the withdrawal, it sort of, when I'm pushing that, so what I've done is I've ever so gently stoned this on an oil stone just to polish that surface a little bit, and I'm just going to try it now and see if that slides a bit easier. This is a sharp edge, and no doubt in service this will round off a little bit, but then again it's good and hard, so it shouldn't wear that much. Anyway, I'm going to have another go now, and I'll get back to you. Right, this is where the pawl was jamming. Let me just try and explain that to you. That's it there. It was just so all I had to do was put a little bit of clearance on that so that it will move past. And there it's moving past now, and it will change gear nicely. So it was really just a clearance issue. Right, this should be able to show you the selector plate moving as it should do, with no crashes and no jams. So there's, what's that? That's top gear. I can't go any further. So then 4, 3, 2, neutral and first. And then back the other way. Second, third, fourth, fifth. With no jams, smooth operation, a smooth function. I am happy with that now. Right, I must say I have derived quite a lot of pleasure out of being able to change gear and watch these selectors thrashing around. That's not something you get to see very often, and it's simply as a result of the way the Velocette gearbox is designed. Oh. Any problems I'm having with selection now at the moment are as a result of my my actuation bar, which is a little bit amateurish, I'm afraid, but that's all I've got before I put the cover on. So it's in first, there's neutral, hang on, second, third, fourth, fifth. I like it. Everything working nicely. 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's just do that again. And then the other way. Yes, but back to neutral again. Jolly good. I like it. That'll do nicely. Well, needless to say, I'm very relieved that I've managed to get this working. I was very disappointed, but then again I suppose I'd no right to be disappointed. This is a kit which apparently has been made. It hasn't been made for a long time. It has a history though of being successfully used, and all I had to do was just make it work and teach it manners. And in effect, I don't think it's appropriate to even describe this as a manufacturing tolerance or a manufacturing error. It's simply something that needs to be fitted. So any of you out there who have bought one of these kits, it could be that you don't have this problem. But I do recommend that any of you who are building this gearbox, don't just throw it all together and put it in the bike. You need to take a sequential view of the whole thing and the way it functions. And you need to make sure that the first step is that the selector mechanism works successfully, and then you can move on, as I intend to now, with putting the lay shaft in and checking the end float. I've just installed the lay shaft, and what I intend to do now with this bushing, which will go on there, I've got to do something about that diameter. It don't fit the shaft. It fits nicely into the Kickstarter boss anyway, so that will go on there, and the end float will be controlled by the pins I've referred to in previous videos. What I need to do, however, is shim this up to the point where the end float on this is, well, end float is at a minimum. And so what I intend to do is put my finger in there and turn this while everything is covered up, bolted up. And when I get to the point that I can't turn this, then I will say I've gone too far, and then I will be able to take out a couple of thou and try it again, and then I'll get in effect the end float on this set to a minimum. As the aluminium crank casings expand, it will move this way, and the end float might expand and increase a little bit rather than reduce and bind up things. So this is just another little bit of hand fitting, really. And I'm also aware of the fact that the ambient temperature here is about 6 degrees. So all of this will be as shrunk and as minimal as it's likely to be in service. I don't even know if I'll be out and about riding the bike at 6 degrees if it comes to that. But anyway, it's got to fit together. Right, this is a simple machining operation with a machine reamer. I'm going to machine this bush out to 5/8. So I need to just turn it on. I've already tensioned the belt, yes. And I'm going to stop the reamer turning by a spanner, and I'm going to just gently load this reamer by using the quill on the tailstock. So let's let the clutch out and see what happens. Right, I don't know if it's coming out on the soundtrack for this little video, but there's some foxes outside screeching and screaming like blue murder. But it's not people being slaughtered, it's just these wretched animals. Anyway, there's the bush on the reamer. Just taking that out. And there we go. Yes, a nice fit. Okay, so that's step number one. The lay shaft is in there. Just need to get that washer with splines on it onto the shaft. Right, I'm jumping ahead here a little bit. I've got to the stage now of deciding to check the end float on the lay shaft. I've put this all back together. A little bit of a struggle getting the spring in, but that's okay. And now I'm putting my finger in through the hole in the back here, through the main shaft, and I can turn the lay shaft with just pushing on the gear. But it's stiff. It's not floating nicely. And I've just nipped these 3 screws up, and now I'm measuring the end float, or the gap here between the cover. That's just, I've just checked it all around. I've got an 18 and a 19 thou feeler gauge. So what I need to do is see that as probably, if I take, I don't know, a thou extra. What I'm going to do is eliminate this end float from that bronze bush, and then I'll bolt it all back together, and then I'll check it again. So I'm getting there. Well, from my editing efforts, I've just realized that this video is approaching 15 minutes. I'm going to stop there. That's enough on this at the moment. Clearly there will be more videos. I've got to install the main shaft and deal with the end float and the positioning of that. So there's quite a lot involved in what's about to happen. So let's leave it like that. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this has been of interest to somebody out there. Thank you very much. Bye bye.